You know, we always appreciate honesty and transparency and a willingness to have a conversation. And that is why I'm going back to this interview that I did earlier this week about the movie theater situation in Stafford County. Hello, everyone. I'm Uriah Kiser, founder and publisher of Potomac Local News. Thank you for joining us here on our YouTube channel. If you like local news having to do with anything where you live in Fredericksburg, Manassas, or Woodbridge, you found the right place. Please like and subscribe here on our YouTube channel and comment if you like what you see. Tell us what you think. You know, we've been talking about the movie theater. Where is my movie theater? It's a common question that many Stafford County residents have asked over the past 10 years since the closure of the movie theater at Uriah Town Center. A new one was supposed to be built at the Garrison, and nothing has happened at the Garrison. Nothing, no new houses, no new businesses. It's still a vacant plot of land despite promises after promise to develop the new movie theater and subsequent surrounding buildings on Garrisonville Road. Bart Randall, who is running for Garrisonville District Supervisor against the incumbent Dr. Pamela Young, is calling out this entire situation after Young sent out a mailer stating that she has secured a new movie theater for this area. And just a week before, prior to that, the developer of this planned plot of land, the Garrison and Stafford, said there is no movie theater deal. There's nothing. There was one many years ago, but the theater that they had planned to put there, Regal Cinema, went bankrupt. And so there's a lot of questions about what Young meant in this flyer and what deal she actually secured. Of course, we asked Young to come on and talk with us. We asked her to send a statement. We've sent her multiple requests for comment for multiple stories that we worked on over this election season, which is quickly coming to an end here as we approached Election Day on November 4th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the entire interview with Bart Randall, who did come on with us and talk to us about this. I sat down with Randall and we talked about the claims about being the claims that there is a movie theater deal and what's really going on behind the scenes here of this project. We also talked about the future of entertainment and development in Stafford, and if a movie theater still makes sense today in the era of streaming and online entertainment. And what he thinks should go there and what may be more viable than a movie theater that we have been promised in Stafford County but have not seen. So let's get into it. Here's Bart Randall.
And so what I did is I went back and watched the meeting, I guess last week when Pence was there.
Yep.
Despite what that flyer says, they don't have an agreement for a theater at this point in time.
No, they don't have an agreement. And he pulled the, I like them. I've dealt with them just a little bit before, but I'm a little over the trust me, I'm Bob Pence. I'm going to build this. This is my last project. You know, we've heard this several times. 2015, when it first started, we've had several different proffer changes. Well, it's about, trust me. This is my word. I would never go back on my word. And we're going to have it for 100 years, right? I need more than assurances than just your word that this is going to be good for Stafford.
And I think it also raises the concern that you have a sitting elected official sending out information that is not true. What do you make of that? Obviously, that she's your opponent, but I mean, she's putting out false information on these flyers.
Well, there's two thoughts I had. Let me go back just a little bit. So she has been clear to the people who ask her and who's willing to listen that she has been talking to Bob Pence and the Pence group for several months. She has claimed years regarding this, what they're doing, how they're doing it, this whole thing. And when I heard that, it immediately brought a level of disappointment to my thought process in that while she's been meeting with them on a regular basis, she has had absolutely no communication with her constituents about what she's doing and how she's doing it. And here's what we're doing. Here's what we're engaging in. Here's what we're trying to do. And we have been literally, we being, I'm part of her district, have been literally left out in the dark concerning any status. And then what happens? We get to the very end of the election time, and all of a sudden this revelation of, oh, yes, we're going to do this new proffer amendment. And then you get to the meeting and the proffer amendment is, I need to build townhomes and not apartments. Okay, that's a great, okay, I'm okay with that. But we're not going to tell you how many. And we're not going to tell you where they go. And you just have to trust us that we're going to build a movie theater. Well, none of that means that, as she said, secured, which to me means that you've obtained it, you've procured it, you've secured it. I got it in my hands. I got it. It's final. None of that happened. None of that.
And as Pence admitted at the last meeting, there is no deal. He said there was a deal in 2015.
Yep.
It fell through with the bankruptcy of Regal Theaters. And so here we are, 2025, and there's still no deal for a theater. I guess my last question for you is, this where is my theater is something that we've heard for a decade, if not more, in Stafford County. I remember writing about the closure and subsequent demolition of the theater at Aquia Town Center, where wasn't always the best theater to go to, but hey, there was a theater here, and if you didn't want to go to Woodbridge or Fredericksburg, you'd go to the movies. That hasn't been the case in 10 years. So we've seen politicians come in and campaign on this. We've seen promises from developers. You're campaigning on being the Garrisonville District Supervisor. I guess two-part question. Will Stafford ever see a theater, given the fact that streaming is so prevalent and we've seen theaters go into bankruptcy? Is it a smart campaign strategy to continue talking about the potential of a theater? Or should we be looking at other things, other higher and better uses of this land?
As much as we would like a movie theater, we have to come to the reality, as you mentioned, that it may not be viable for a company who want to come in and build a metroplex like they have down at whatever the name of it now. It changes regularly down in Spotsylvania. Now, could they do an off-type, non-traditional type theater? Could they do something that is a little different? I think there's one up in Woodbridge I haven't been to yet that it's a little different than just a regular sit-down theater. Could they? There may be, but there are some things that need to be back there to make it a draw to bring people into that area. I mean, as I tell people, if I had a druthers, I would, a Dave and Buster's would be great back there. That would be able to be the anchor store, the anchor establishment that would be able to bring people in. You'd have I would like to see two better restaurants than another Starbucks, honestly. Don't tell anybody that. I like Starbucks, but really, how many more do you need?
Yeah.
And if I could put a Dave and Buster's and a Texas Roadhouse over there, I think I could run for president.
I think it's important to note that this is, once this project goes in, and obviously we're going to see the houses come first.
Sure.
This is going to open up a new street that's going to link, I believe it's High Point Boulevard, back in, and forgive me, is it Austin Ridge? Is that the neighborhood that it links to? Is it?
So it comes off of Mine Road. High Point has townhomes, and there's an apartment complex at the very back of. So it's literally just townhomes as you go through High Point that links to the back, and then when you get to the back, there's a cul-de-sac back there, and off of that cul-de-sac is a big apartment complex.
And the only way to get there now is to go behind Walmart off of Mine Road. So that's and does that area have a name? Is that part of Austin Ridge, or is it just High Point Boulevard?
It's just High Point Boulevard. There
Gotcha.
now each of the little townhome areas, they have their little names, but I don't know if I recall what those names are. But it's not, there are no single homes back in that area off of High Point. There's a new townhome development that was built maybe 4 or 5 years ago, with some nice townhomes back there. But it's townhomes, and then a big apartment complex back there.
Okay. Is there anything else you want me or my audience to know?
It's the timing of the mailer. Obviously, the mailer was out before the vote was taken. As somebody mentioned on Facebook, she was pretty assured she had the votes to put that mailer out there. If the vote had been no, I don't know what she would have done with the mailer, because the mailer would have been out with the disapproved. So I don't know what she had done behind the scenes to ensure that she had the votes. You'll have to ask the other 3 supervisors who voted for that. To the point of the, if it was me, and I'm just going to tell you different for me, we have to have a maximum number of townhomes. You don't get to go in and just say, I'm going to build them. I'm going to build however many I want up to 317. I can't fit 317. If you look at the GDP, there wasn't 317 townhomes on the GDP. So if you're going to proffer the GDP as I would recommend, as I would have required, you got to proffer it. I need to know what you're going to do with it. And if you're hesitant to proffer it, why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have a problem with townhomes over apartments. Again, I would have condos, not apartments. I'm all about affordable housing. I think one of the ways we do that is we do condos and not apartments. We do a 1 or 2 bedroom small condo. I'm not moving into it as a retiree, right? But it gives people a chance to get some ownership and be able to move. I would move to condos and not apartments. I would do townhomes. I don't have a problem with that. But I would have a very strict limit on it. I would make sure that we re-emphasized that there's a certain number of square footage of commercial that will be built before I touch any of the residential. It's those types of things that we weren't really clear. I think personally that we need to go back and relook at those proffers and make sure that everybody, me, you, the county, the Garrisonville, we understand exactly what those proffers are, so we understand exactly what we should expect. And then the bottom line is, you talked about it in 2015. We approved it in 2015. I know we had a COVID situation for 4 years, but when are you going to start building this? When are you going to provide something for the residents of the Garrisonville District and Stafford County that we can actually benefit from? We've talked a lot. We've made some proffers changes throughout I think this is a 3rd one, but let's build it. Let's do something with it.
All right, words there from Bart Randall for Garrisonville District Supervisor. Again, we thank you for watching here on Potomac Local News. Please like and subscribe to our channel. If you want more local news, please go to our website, potomaclocal.com. I update it all day long. Have a great day.